everyone, and welcome to our Peachy Keen collection. How aptly named for a time of the 50s. If you love that time, doesn't mean you had to live during that time. We all have nostalgia for certain things. But man, Mary Fran captured the essence of the 50s. The elements, the design of the background papers, and especially, as you can see, the color. Boy, you know, I didn't live in the 50s myself, but I sure remember the color of all that, because people still had it in the 70s and 80s because, hey, you know what? Things were actually built fairly well back then, so it lasted that long, but, you know, and we weren't that society of, okay, I have to have the latest and greatest. But, boy, I'm telling you, you're going to love this kit. So in our bundled collection, for those of you that are new, our bundled collection includes all 5 coordinated products, and you can purchase it as just one product. You also save 20% on this versus purchasing each of these items individually, so it's certainly good value. Included in it is our FQB, our Peachy Keen 2 paper pack, our Peachy Keen Solids paper pack, our Peachy Keen Alpha, as well as our Little Bits Peachy Keen, which is an additional elements pack. And once again, there are no duplicates in here, so by buying it in the bundle, you do not get any duplicates in any of these 5 products. So, okay, enough talking. Let's just go in and have a look at this here. Peachy Keen. Look at that, the checked. Don't you even still love today going to a burger place or a diner that has that as the paper? You know, the paper that lines the basket that you get your food in? I just love that, right? Nostalgia. Again, the same sort of feel in it. Dig it. All the good old twist and shout, the good old sayings that, you know, probably, maybe you still do use them, and good for you. I say go ahead and use them. But a lot of us have moved on to other ones. So here's the checks, obviously in the colors that coordinate with this kit, but doesn't this just remind you of the 50s? Can't you hear something, a Buddy Holly song on the jukebox? You have a milkshake, you know, the whole 9 yards. As you can see in this diamond, you know, it just has the whole feeling of it. This is what I was talking about earlier, where Mary Fran really captured it. Now, we do have some other things in here, some prettier things, because, you know, you want to pair things up. Maybe you want a little bit more mature theme. You don't want it as, what's the word to say? You really want to upscale it a little bit is what I'm trying to say. So you do have some florals in here in order to do that sort of thing. If maybe you're making a card or a layout for perhaps your mom or grandparents or uncles and aunts that really, you know, grew up in that era or love that era, you know, you still can go into a little bit more mature theme for yourself. But look, the polka dots. Doesn't this polka dot remind you of a girl with a scarf tied around her neck, that pink and black? You know, it really, like I said, brings out the feeling of the 50s. And there you are with the shapes in here. It just really, really screams 50s to you. And hopefully you have some affinity for that era as well. It sounds like it was a wonderful way, a wonderful time to grow up, a wonderful time to be alive and to experience all that. Now, who knows, 60 years from now, people may say that about our generation and our era here. But, you know, we have an affinity for it. It just was a really great time in life, I think. And to be able to capture it in this kit, I know you have lots of old photos or people in your life who are nostalgic and have that love of that era. This is going to be the kit for you. Look at the clock. Now, doesn't that look like a retro 50s clock? There's some flowers individually, so you have lots of creative control. You can place them wherever you want. Here's some frames, and you can use the florals or that clock or whatever you want in order to adorn these frames. And again, remember, if you're doing scrapbooking, obviously, you can use these in order to put photos behind, all that kind of stuff. But if you're a card maker or you're doing something else even in your layout, there's so much that you can put in behind these frames. The centers are obviously opaque, so there is no color to this. There's nothing in there. So you can, when working digitally, you can just slide something in first, whether that's your photo, a background paper, a main element, and put your frame on top of it and print it as one if you're using it printing, or save it like that if you're working digitally. The frames have a lot of uses, and don't pass them by and just think of them as photos only. Look at the glasses, right? That kind of horn-rimmed feel to them, got a little bit of sparkle to them, and here they are in a few different colors. As you'll see, the glasses each come with glasses, you know, glass in them, if you want to say it that way, and without glass. So that way, if again, Why not put a couple of photos or a couple of main elements in there? You can really dress these things up. They don't have to be just be used simply as glasses, as an element, which, hey, they'd be fine to use that. But think about it. Give yourself some creativity and some creative license to go on. Right on. Here's a journal mat. Great place for a photo, add main elements to it. You know, you can have a card front with this. You can have somebody's, you know, a sentiment because it's maybe somebody's birthday, anniversary, you know, just saying how much you care about them, whatever it is. You have so many options with these journal mats. Those were the days. Here I am saying it again, right? The journal strips. Here's groovy moments with you. So these hopefully will say some of the things that maybe you want to say in your creation, whether that's cards or layouts, but also they are great in order to just describe the feeling. You know, that's kind of the point of it. Here's some journal strips that are blank so you can write in whatever it is that you were like wanting to say, but maybe you're noting a date, a time, a place, an occasion to, you know, note about that photo, or note on your card about, hey, happy birthday, or I remember when, or whatever thoughts and things you had to say about it. The jukebox. How could you have a 50s kit without the jukebox? Now, if you're lucky enough to have one in your house, good for you, but, you know, that is a real symbol. Peachy Keen. The labels, groovy moments with you. Again, these are the things that Mary Fran does so well. Here's the marquee sign in a label of Happy Days. Mary Fran does this so well so that we can all just progress on and create rather than having to build so much stuff. That's what I love about it. And like, look at the radio. Look at, there's even FM. There's everything in there, rocking around the clock. You know, you really have everything you need. And there is the vinyl albums. Those of us that are music lovers, I'm one of them. Boy, nothing like a vinyl album. I really, obviously I still have quite a collection, but I really hearken to those days. That was fantastic. Going to the record store, way better than buying online. You know, streaming your music or whatever it is today. I love that. Just putting on an album, away you go. There was something really, I don't know. That's probably just nostalgia. We all have those things, right? Great selection of ribbons in order to add in, again, that punch of color. I say it, I know I'm kind of a broken record, pun intended. That, you know, use the ribbons. Really, give yourself a bit of a creative challenge, and I'll show you the layout and our card at the end as to how we make use of those. But they add such interest and such that little punch of color and texture in some of the dead little areas. There's the shapes, you saw them in the background paper as a nice solid background paper, but here they are individually, again, to give you full creative control. You may want to place those in a certain fashion, or just use one, or use a multitude of them and do something different, and we want to give you that creative ability. The television. Remember having to change the channel? We all remember that. Remember the snow on the channel, though? That was great. We had a canary that used to love that. He would sing when you turned it to the snow channel that had nothing on it, and he would love that. So again, there's the television that has a screen already kind of in it, and there's one that is opaque behind it, so you can slide in a main element, maybe a photo, words, whatever. You can fill this in as a sentiment, whatever you want to do. You have so many options with the televisions, and there they are in several different colors. So that is our FQB, and only our FQB. Look at what the Little Bits has to offer here. Again, a different style of clock, but still in those 50s colors. Flares in rock and roll. These are, again, fabulous items in order to add in, that give it such character. These are real character and interesting little items to add in. As you can see, they look, let me just go back here. They look like they're rounded and they're 3D. You know, Mary Fran just does a great job creating to give us all these wonderful things. Again, lots of labels. Labels are just like, imagine putting the fabulous 50s. You can already see that developing, where that is a main element for you, and that's what you want to kind of bring forth. That is so great, and they're created, Mary Fran creates them large, so that way you never will lose pixelization. You'll never lose the resolution or the sharpness of that item, because you can certainly shrink it, and that is never a problem. But to make them larger sometimes causes problems or whatever. So they're purposefully created large so that you have a full ability in order to use it however you see fit. Here's a sentiment one. So you would use this just as a digital stamp. You would use it just as you would a regular ink stamp. Place that on any background paper, over top of anything. All that you get is those letters and numbers. You see exactly there. Everything behind this is opaque. There's no color to it. It won't print anything out, nothing. So you can use that just like you would a digital stamp. And that's what's so great about these sentiments, is you can add them in anywhere you want. And you have that great font. You have it all spelled out. It color matches, and the fonts match everything in there. So you really have a lot of creative appeal and creative ability that you can have with all these items. So there's our Little Bits additional elements pack, our 2 paper pack. Again, sorry I'm a broken record on this, but for those of you that are new to us, you have seen these patterns before, but not in these colors. You have seen those patterns in the FQB. We saw a floral and everything else, but you do not get a pink in the FQB. So there's no duplicates. The reason for the 2 paper pack is when you love this and you're creating lots and multiple items, you want to have so many options, or perhaps your creative vision, you wanted a pink background with these shapes. So we want to give you all as many options as we can so that you really enjoy creating with this kit and have so many different things that you can do. So there is our 2 paper pack. Our solids are basically like color cardstock. You want to back a photo. You want to back a main element. You want to make sure that your cardstock 100% color matches with your kit. And that is the point of this. Now, don't get me wrong. You can see there is that, what do you call that? Chevron, I guess, pattern in the paper. So you certainly can use them as standalone papers. Imagine that fabulous 50s label that we were just talking about, or the Happy Days sentiment on there, or Diner. You can certainly use these as standalone papers. They certainly can do that job. But for, like I said, a lot of times you want them for the ability in order to back all your stuff with. Lastly is our alpha. What a fabulous alpha. Again, just really is the theme of the 50s. Nice bold black color so that it really, there's a good statement there. Obviously, back in the 50s, there wasn't as many color choices and everything that we see today. Things were a little more just staying within the primary colors or the colors of the rainbow. So the black is just fabulous with this, and with the white outline kind of offset on it and stuff like that. Like I said, it really says the 50s. Now use this alpha in any way you see fit, but commonly, if you haven't used our alphas before, again, set that challenge to yourself where you use an alpha. Use it for names, dates, places, a feeling. If you wanted to say, I love you, if you wanted friendship, whatever it is, use the alpha, because it does add so much zest into your creations that I'm sure once you try it out once, you'll want to use it again. So here is Mary Fran's layout. As I mentioned to you, this gives you some inspiration and gives you an idea of, wow, what could I create with this? Well, this gives you a little bit of an idea. As you see, she used a lot of background papers, but up in this top right corner, see how she used that ribbon. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you didn't have that there and you just had the 2 little buttons, nothing wrong with that, but look at how it adds such interest and texture by having that patterned ribbon. As well, see this black check and the pink with the black polka dots coming down the side? Those are ribbons. So because they have that kind of pinking sheared end, that pointed end on them, what interest and color you can add without having to use an entire background paper or whatever the case may be. You use just strips of them. Same thing with the blue one at the bottom. Mary Fran wanted to tie in some more of that blue with the Peachy Keen label and all that kind of stuff and make it flow better. Well, look at how easy it is to use that ribbon. They're already sized for you, so they have a great width and everything else. You pop that in there and away you go. You've got interest, you've got texture, and a great way to use those ribbons. Secondly is, let me just close out of this, and let me show you the card making idea that I made. There's what I was saying earlier. See how I started with Groovy Moments with You? It was such a starting element for me, and that's what I'm sure a lot of you create this way. But you find that main starting element and then build from it. It has red in it, it has the bluish teal in it. So as you can see, I used 2 background papers, and again, there's how I used the ribbon across the bottom. I wanted to kind of lighten it up at the bottom a little bit, just kind of got a little dark with the black glosses and things like that, and I wanted to brighten it up. Well, what a better way to do it? It all blends nicely, and like I said, it does give you some interest because of the pattern in it. So thanks for tuning into our video. I hope that you'll take a trip over to our store now, check out this Peachy Keen collection, because I'm telling you, It really is a lot of fun to work with. Kind of brings back memories, puts a smile on your face. It's really, really worth doing and worth having in your collection and your repertoire of kits. But before you leave, take a look down in the right-hand corner of the screen. You'll see our Nitwit Collections logo. Please click on that to subscribe to our channel so you'll be made aware of whenever new videos come out. You always will be informed. As well, give us a thumbs up on the video if you liked it, and leave us a comment if you had something to say about this collection or had a question about anything. We're always happy to help. Thanks once again, and we hope that you'll enjoy and have a peachy keen time grooving with this new kit. Thanks again. Bye-bye.